the intermediate school. Got a packed house, looks like standing room only. I'm the principal of the intermediate school. Thank you for coming out tonight. You're in for a real treat. I wanted to introduce to you our staff. They're amazing. They've been working really hard. We have Sharon Rello in the back. Sharon, give us a wave. Thank you, Miss Rello. We have Mrs. Clark here. Mrs. Clark. Mrs. Polner. And newest to our team is Mr. Hogland. I wanted to introduce these newer faces to everyone so that you could congratulate them at the end. I know your kids have been speaking very highly of them. First up, we have our string ensemble led by Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Plummer.
Welcome to the LIS Instrumental program. We will begin our program with the Chamber Strings Ensemble under the direction of Mrs. Clark and Ms. Ploner. We hope that you enjoy our musical selections.
Old Lang Syne of the Days Gone By is arranged by John Ferry Royce. The lyrics date from 1788 when Scottish poet Robert Burns set them to a traditional English folk tune. The literal translation of the Scottish title is Old Lang Syne. Since today we might say of days gone by. This piece has become a tradition to commemorate the last evening of the old year or graduations. Best wishes for happy and prosperous 2018. Chamber Strings feels fortunate to present this traditional Hanukkah song on the final day of Hanukkah. You may notice that we have a few repeated sections in this piece. Well, that's how to represent how the dreidel spins and spins. We are happy to share with you Sivivon Sov Sov Sov.
Are you ready to take a trip around the world to hear one of the most popular holiday tunes, Jingle Bells? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as you travel through USA, Mexico, Japan, Vienna, and Scotland. Please hold your applause till the very end of the piece. Thank you for our narrators, Katoro Maeda, Anna Gabriel DeLone, Gladys Coronado, and Shreya Buddy.
We are sure that you recognize as the familiar tune Jingle Bells. The orchestra will take on a musical journey around the world by playing this well-known tune in the musical style of various countries. We will begin by traveling south to the border to Mexico. Look out for sombreros, stripes at the festival small field. And markers and the castanets are played along with our tune.
Now off to Japan, where we hear Jingle Bells with the flavor of the Far East. Vienna, the beautiful, charming city in Australia, home of the graceful Viennese waltz. Be our next stopping place. If Johann Stark's The Waltz King had written Jingle Bells, it might sound like this.
Continuing on our journey, we arrive in Scotland with a little imagination. One can picture lads and lassies doing a Scottish jig while the violas and cellos and basses imitate the drone of the bagpipes. Our brief excursion has come to an end.
And we return to good old USA, where we hear Jingle Bell in the style most familiar to us.
The 5/6 orchestra consists of 76 violin, viola, cello, and bass players. We are excited to perform for you our two selections tonight. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Our first selection is Abandoned Funhouse, composed by Brian Baumage. It takes the listener on an eerie tour that can best be described as an unsettling experience with a touch of curious and anxiousness. Thank you to Emma Phelan for playing the piano part. We hope you enjoy Abandoned Funhouse.
The final piece for the 5/6 orchestra is Skater's Waltz, arranged by Richard Myers. This winter classic waltz will make you feel like you are gliding on ice. Listen carefully for the melody that is shared amongst both upper and lower strings. Enjoy.
thank you for the brief intermission. I apologize for the setup. As you can see, there's a lot of setup here. So right now we're getting ready for our LIS Jazz Band. While we're finishing getting ready, I figured I'd kind of give you a brief overview of what the LIS Jazz Band is. First of all, this is an audition group for 5th and 6th graders. I know I saw many of my 4th grade band students in here, so if you're super interested, you practice really hard, and you audition really well, this could be you, which is super awesome. These students practice once in the 6-day cycle that we have. They practice on day 2, right? Is day 2? Day 2. And they sound awesome, especially for the fact that they get one day as a full group, and they really make some awesome things happen. So we have one tune here for you that goes over a concert F blues here, and I figured before we get started, first of all, I'll give you an overview, and second of all, I'd acknowledge some of the soloists that are on here. In your programs, you'll see these soloists that I'm mentioning in there as well. So correct me if I mess this order up, guys and gals, all right? So the first soloist we have on My Dinner with Ronald is Rathika over here on flute. Fantastic. Yeah, you give her a round of applause. She's gonna sound awesome. And then we have Garrett over here on trumpet. Garrett, wave to the crowd. Awesome. Yep. And then we have Aiden on alto saxophone. Aiden, wave to the crowd. All right. And last but not least, we have Rhea, also on alto saxophone, all the way on the end there. Awesome. So hopefully you enjoy My Dinner with Ronald. So while we finish getting set up here, right now we have our 6th grade only concert band. So 6th grade only concert band, 6th grade and 5th grade concert band, both rehearse separately, which also makes them pretty amazing, in my opinion. As many of you know, this is my first year here. By the lack of hair, you can tell I've been teaching for longer than just 1 year. It's been a few years now. However, I think it's pretty remarkable that they rehearse separately, but they work so efficiently together, and you'll hear that in a little bit. The 6th grade band rehearses every day 3 in the 6-day cycle during our extension period. That's for about 45 minutes towards the end of the day, and that's, unless something happens where there's an assembly or something else that interferes as well. So they really had to be very efficient with their time. We do have one piece ready for you for 6th grade, which is called Snow Globe. Hopefully it kind of gives you that same feeling of what you feel when you shake a snow globe, you see all that, and you have all those memories. So we have that here for you. And then just to save us some time as well, after that we will have our 5th grade band students join us to make a 5th and 6th grade combined band. Once again, they don't rehearse together. The only time they rehearse together is when we start gearing up for these concerts. And then once again, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised on how awesome they sound together, especially for the lack of time, but not even especially, just for the fact that they are together, and some of them don't even know each other until they sit down next to each other. And that's amazing, and that's what makes this really special. So, without further ado, here is our 6th grade concert band with Snow Globe. So like I said, together, it sounds pretty awesome, the fact that they don't see each other very often, and now they do, and they make this one mega band. So that's awesome. Can we give them another round of applause? Now, you know this isn't my first year because you know as I'm talking, I'm slowly moving out of the way for the moms and dads and grandma, and uncle to get those pictures in right now. So bear with me if I kind of creep to the back here while you get your pictures in. Before we play our last piece, I have to thank many, many people, but I'll try to make it as concise as possible because I know, especially music teachers, we have the gift of gab. So I'll try to keep it very concise as I can. First of all, I need to thank my fellow music teachers that have helped me throughout this first half of the year. Miss Sharon Rello, Mrs. Clark, Miss Ploner, everyone there has been fantastic, really showing us, yes, please. And then obviously the people here, the very first person that you saw introduce the concert here has been pivotal in me being here and being super happy and being awesome. I would not be awesome if it wasn't for Mrs. Westhead, our principal here, as well as our assistant principal, Mrs. Ament. And then a lot of the unsung heroes here in our schools, in all of our schools, not just this school, our custodial and maintenance staff, they are phenomenal. Yes, they are. We've been having these rehearsals, not just this group, but the chorus and the orchestras have been having all of these groups where this half of the room has been taken over by the music department. And before we even walk into this room, this is set up. And not like, oh, there's just chairs and we put it in there. No, they like know the rows. Like, it's ridiculous. They know exactly how many in each row now, and they know exactly how many risers they need. It's remarkable, and they do it willingly and happily because they know what the great product is. They understand the bigger picture, and that's so phenomenal and hard to see in a school. And then obviously our Board of Education that makes this possible, supports this and all that stuff. I don't need to go further into support with the music education because we're doing it. Here at LIS and as well as in Lawrence. I just want to also thank you for supporting your students and your families and everything through musical education. It's something obviously you value because you're here. That's why I don't need to lecture anyone. But I want to thank you for driving them to those extra things that, it's so hard to wake up and, make that extra drive, but we all do it. It's so hard sometimes when they first start to hear them squawk and say, that's great. But we do it because we understand the greater good and we understand what it's really going to become in the long term. And hopefully in the next few years, you can even hear that further and hear that escalate further starting from LIS. So once again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for supporting not only the orchestra, but the band as well. Please drive safe and have a wonderful, safe, and healthy holiday.
Congratulations to all three of our bands and our string ensembles, chamber strings. Congratulations, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your support of our musical program. And to help us thank our musical directors, Miss Kim Lairfield, our PTO president. Here you go, Kim.
So right now I'd like to say thank you to all of our musical directors, and I'm going to go with Mr. H here first because he's in front of me, so thank you very much. Thank you. And of course, things wouldn't be possible without Ms. Rello. Thank you very much. And now I see Ms. Clark. Here she comes. Thank you, Ms. Clark and our orchestra. And last but certainly not least, I can't find her, but where is Miss Polner? Where's Miss Polner? Oh, she might be with the string children. All right, so when you're on your way out and you see Miss Polner, say thank you to Miss Polner. Thank you very much. Have a nice night.